A couple of Seattle questions. One comes from a mutual friend. His name's Duff.
Yeah.
And Duff said to ask Nikki how the Seahawks are going to do next year.
Oh, well, you know, the Seahawks need a little bit of help. Ever since the quarterback got such a hot wife, I think he's taken his eye off the ball.
You're not the first person to say that.
That's right.
He's lost focus, right?
He has lost a lot of focus, as many men would.
Right? Certainly.
Yes.
Tell me about some of your favorite bands and musicians to come out of the Pacific Northwest.
So I was in Idaho, and there's only 4,000 people in the city I came from. So when I went to Seattle to live with my mom for a while, that's when all of a sudden it's like there's concerts, and there's local bands playing, and there's local artists, and I knew guys that had guitars and drums, and that was like a really fruitful time for me. But it was also, there wasn't really a scene in Seattle. So we were playing in basements, like trying to learn how to play T-Rex songs and expressing ourselves fashion-wise, like going to vintage stores and buying like women's suit jackets and deconstructing them and sewing them back together, lots of patches and weird boots. And there was no other kids in high school that looked like that. So that was like kind of a hard time, a lot of fist fights, a lot of name calling, but we were defining ourselves as unique characters, and we were called the Whiz Kids, and we would like all hang out and listen to the same music and, you know, smoke pot, drink beer, all the things you're not supposed to do when you're a teenager. There wasn't a Seattle scene that I know about at the time.
The Showbox, it's a venue in Seattle. It's like 1,500 person venue.
Love those places.
Yeah, dude, it's a great place, and it's been around since probably the 1950s. Well,
Yeah.
It's slated to be demolished so they can build condos.
Oh, that's a drag.
Yeah, so Seattle without a Showbox is like LA without a whiskey or a troubadour,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I was hoping maybe you could speak a little bit to how important these local music venues are to a city and to the music industry, because, you know, not only do national bands come through and play these places, but this is where a lot of young bands get their first shots, right?
That's right, yeah. They're very important. You get to cut your teeth in those kind of places, and also when you're first starting out, you know, if you have a Whiskey A Go-Go or a place like this, you know, that's kind of like that's the Super Bowl for you. That's like making it to these places that have a name, that have history. You know, when you go there, like, you trust the place, that they have the best artists in there. I just can't imagine that not being there for young kids and young musicians playing, whatever genre it is. Yeah.